something may come up that isn't a vibrational match to everything you put there, because you didn't ask the universe to bring you a person who would not allow any expansion in the relationship. You didn't say, universe, bring me someone who is perfect, who will never change, and who will never ask change from me. You're asking for someone that you can eternally be joyful with, which means you're asking for someone who is willing to step out of the vortex and in and out and in and out and in and out and in and out and in. You're asking for someone who has the capacity to expand and the willingness to align with the expansion. So you have all the tools. You know what to do. In other words, the way you keep this relationship feeling as wonderful as it does today is by taking complete responsibility for the way you feel at all times, by owning your emotions, and by understanding that it is your work to tune yourself to the best relationship. Sometimes is to find someone who is so beautiful, so wonderful in so many ways, and hope that you don't discover any flaws, but there's the flaw. There is one. And then hoping that they won't ever show it to you again, but there it is again. There it is again. What deliberate creating is understanding that if something happens that doesn't feel so good, it is your job to focus yourself back into feeling good without needing that flaw to be resolved. Now that is the secret to a wonderful relationship. Meaning, as you say to another, or whether you say it or not, just meaning it. I'm asking no change from you. I have the ability, hold on to your seat, because you may not like this, but this is the secret to a wonderful relationship. I have the ability to focus myself into loving you, no matter what. Because I have been living in a diverse world for quite a while, and I've discovered that I cannot seclude myself from unwanted, from my point of view, things. There are so many people who want things that I don't want, and I don't have the right to take from them the things that they want just because I don't want them. I've learned that this diverse world is the right kind of world, and that I just focus myself within it for the attraction of what comes to me. So, lover of mine, I will extract from you by the basis of my point of attraction, not by the basis of your point of offering. I am attracted from you, and I take full responsibility for what I attract. Jerry Nestor has been playing with this business of deliberate creation for some time, and every day insights come to him. Recently, they were involved in a situation where red flags were coming up. Red flags. Esther was feeling uncomfortable. She said to us, Abraham, I don't want to have red flags, because a red flag to Esther meant that she was focused upon something unwanted and therefore practicing the vibration of something unwanted. And we said, well, look at it this way. That red flag is the indication that the thought that you're thinking, in other words, the solution that they were contemplating as they were feeling the red flag, just means that's not the viable solution for you. In other words, it just means you're on the wrong path. And it also means that a solution is queuing up in a stronger way. So when you feel a red flag about something, when there's something that may be a little unsettling that comes up, all it means is it's a calling for you to sharpen your focus. It's not a calling for a change out there in the world. It's not a calling for a change. It doesn't mean we need to have a sit-down conversation where I mold you, whoever you are, into something different. It means that this is a moment of creation where when I'm feeling a red flag, I'm launching a more powerful desire that I then will find a way to come into vibrational alignment.
So is it better to not talk about the problem and just envision the way you want it to be?
Well,
without talking about it?
Because we've been really encouraging people to just not talk about it. Because the more they talk about it, the more about emotions when you're wise like Esther is. And just don't get carried away with poking around in the problem. And the point that we're making here is be solution-oriented. That's the other day, Jerry was telling a story that he's told for years. And at the end of it, and Esther has enjoyed it every time he tells it, because it just gets better and better as he applies it to whatever is currently being lived. And he ended by saying, and the moral of the story is, and when they settled in on the moral of the story, they both felt such satisfaction at aligning with the conclusion that this story had caused them to focus upon. So, you think about the moral of the story. What is it that you're ultimately reaching for? Loving this person forevermore. What is it that you're ultimately reaching for? Finding the best in one another every day. What is it that you're ultimately reaching for? Joyful, co-creating, expanding experiences. So as long as we just want the moral of the story to be so foremost in your mind that you don't get carried away, because there's nothing wrong with having a conversation as long as you're solution-oriented. The question that you ask, how can I keep our relationship this way? How can I just keep feeling alive and excited and happy about it? The answer is, give the relationship your undivided attention. You are sure you're in the vortex. And when you are not in the vortex, don't spend too much time trying to sort it out. Wow. Most people get nose-to-nose outside the vortex. And they practice the outside the vortex, and then they stumble into the vortex every now and again and have a what, and they come. But what about a relationship where your relationship vows go like this? I am so glad to be together with her. And I'm also so glad to be together with the source within me, my Lord. And I love it most when we're always there together. And it is my dominant intention to give my full attention to you from inside my Lord. So if you ever find me busy, it's not because I'm not wanting what's wrong. It's that I'm not vibrationally ready for it in that moment. But don't despair. I'll be right there. I'll be right there. I'll be right there. And then never, ever, ever chase anybody down. In other words, don't leave your vortex to go find them. It never works out. And don't ask them to come and rescue you. In other words, that, for better or for worse stuff, sucks. Because it defies the laws of the universe in the way that you know them to be. It is my promise to you that I will stay in the vortex as best I can, and from there, I will keep my undivided attention.
So much.
When it comes to healers, like you mentioned healers in the past, and there's other people around who've walked into a room and had miraculous effects on people who were sick or diseased. How does that then tie in with increasing their vibration or thinking about something else?
What you're talking about is the power of influence. You hear us say, we say it often, that one who's in alignment is more powerful than millions who are not. It's like the demonstration that we had with our friend on the telephone earlier, that when you take the time to tune in to that higher frequency so that you are really in alignment with that, and then you hold someone as your object of attention, they benefit by your alignment. But you have to understand that law of attraction cannot put someone there who is not in the vibrational vicinity. That's why Jesus said, it is your faith that has made you whole. In other words, if someone is standing in desire of something and not believing that it is possible, then it's not going to be their experience, you see. They've got to be somewhere in the vibrational vicinity in order for that to happen. Now, someone who's tuned in, tapped in, turned on, has a very powerful, broad, long reach. When you know the power of alignment, and when you know the love of source, and when you hold something as your object of attention, it benefits. This is the easiest way to really get to the heart of this important question with an answer that is right on target. You're going to feel this as it reaches you. Do you believe that everyone is an extension of source energy?
Yes.
And do you believe that source energy is looking at some with love and not looking at others? Or do you believe that source is aware of all? So therefore, everyone has access to that energy, yes?
Mm-hmm.
So you've got a direct connection with source, but you don't believe it, you doubt it. And so even though source is holding you as object of attention, it's bouncing off of you. You're not letting the benefit of it reach you. So then someone else who comes into your experience, who is also tuned to that, do you think that if source, with all that source is not able to bring a person from doubt, then is there any healer who is in physical form that would be able to do that? In other words, we're asking you, do you believe that source has the power to assert?
Absolutely. And then there's the belief in that person. If you're saying you're using as an identity, like we'll use Jesus, for example. If you
But
believe,
the thing is, unless the perception of that individual changes and allows, unless they let go of their resistance. In other words, there is not anyone who is not seen by source. But there are many who don't allow themselves to know that, you see.
Right.
And so the reason that we put it to you in that way is because we want you to understand that as the creator of your own experience, all of you are the recipients of this source energy. And that every one of you is either allowing it or not allowing it. There is no withholding of source. It's an inside job that each of you must individually find your way to. And sometimes you don't find your way until you reemerge back into non-physical. But it is something that must be individually perceived. That might be a little upsetting to some humans because you want source to be so powerful that source can just zap you with knowledge. And we say, that happened when you made the decision to come here. All of you came knowing that you were extensions of that which is source energy. And so source never stops offering, but you've got to find some way to do step 3. That's really what we're saying. And so what healers do is that they offer such consistency of vibration that in time it causes those who have been resistant in nature to let go of the resistance and allow what was natural anyway. You follow? And you feel how the first part of your question answered the last part.
I don't take it in now. We want to listen to the CDs. It's a bit hard for me to take on.
Good.
In awe, but I have another couple of questions, if I may. Well, this one's a different subject. The more we focus on something, the bigger it gets. And you've mentioned a couple of times, Abraham, about demonstrations and it doesn't work. I'm wondering how that relates to I wonder about that because there's evidence that I've seen that when groups of people get together and shout, hey, stop this, we don't like it, it can actually make the thing stop. The other people who've designed something to make it stop will actually stop it. And I wonder how that plays in with two people's desires to manifest. One person might have a manifestation wanting to create more money and they have this great idea, and the idea might be to chop down some trees or dig a hole in the ground or get gas or something. And then they go, right, let's do that. That feels really good. We're making some money here. Everything's beautiful. On the other side of the coin, there's some people there whose properties next door is getting poisoned, and they're not liking it so much. So how does that work? And then when other people start complaining about it, then eventually the people who are making money out of it get told, no, you can't do that anymore because it's actually damaging for other people and it's actually causing more problems to more people.
There are so many things we want to say to you.
Yeah.
Most important, can you feel the grid that you're practicing?
Yeah.
And the grid that you're practicing says that things are out of my control, or that things can be set into motion over which I have no control. And of course, that is a flawed premise. We want to start with the first part of your question, because there is no denying that in this physical world that you are living in, that your action counts for something. And there's no question that if there are 2 of you pulling on one end of a rope and there are 10 of you pulling on the other end of the rope, that the 10 who are pulling on the other end of the rope are going to win the tug of war. But in all of that, we are talking about a physical platform that is so mediocre in terms of power in relationship to this energy that creates worlds. We want you to think in terms of tapping into this energy that gives you more leverage. If you engage in the battle, in other words, as you're pushing against this, and you're pushing against this, and you're pushing against this, and you're pushing against this, now you are all disconnected from the energy that will make anything important happen, or anything big happen. And now you're just groveling about with one another. And yes, we acknowledge that the biggest and the strongest in physical terms will win that battle. But that's not the arena that you came to play in. If you can let go of the resistance that is inspired from that sort of thing and step back into the more general place and find your point of alignment, you'll be one who, when your grid fills in with inspiration, you will rise so far above it, you see. When you look at much of the world, there is that sort of squabbling for resources, and then there are those who are not squabbling for those resources. And they are always those masters, you call them, but they are not remarkable in any way, other than that they have figured out how to stop doing that thing to themselves, which was depriving themselves of the resources, and how to tap into the stream that is yielding them more. We do not deny anything that you're saying. There are plenty of things in this world that you are not wanting to participate in. But there is a big difference when you ask these questions from the framework of what's it like for a person who's tuned into the energy and what's it like for one who isn't. And people have been writing endless books and having endless studies as they are trying to define the manifestations that people are living. It's such an interesting thing to listen to you. It's sort of like whole groups of you make no effort to tap into the energy of creation. You make no effort to become a vibrational match to what's in your vortex. And then you see yourselves not living the lives that you want to live. And then you compare yourself to others who are doing the same thing. And you make a science out of behavior that has nothing to do with alignment. And then you want to know, well, why is this way, and why is this way, and why is this way? And we say, it doesn't really matter too much why anyone has created that. The question is, do you like it this way? And if you do, then give your undivided attention to that. And if you don't, then let go of it. Step into a vibration that is of a higher vibration and watch your grid fill in powerful ways. Don't you find it interesting, the difference in the way people are living their lives? Don't you find tremendous variables in what people are earning or in the way people are feeling? Don't you?
Yeah, it makes it interesting, whole life.
Well, the contrast is all certainly part of what causes you to put things into your vortex. But we just have to come back to, do you believe that you are a vibrational being?
Yes.
And if you believe you are a vibrational being, then why would you recount a story of despair like the one that you recounted to us? Why would you keep that active in your vibration? And you'd say, because it's real, because I have observed it. And we say, but there are a lot of things that are real that you want to live, and there are a lot of things that are real that you don't want to live. Why would you use those things that you don't want to live as your reason to practice a grid and practice a point of attraction? And for those like you, usually it's because you're wanting to make a clear point for others, or you're wanting to teach someone something, or you're wanting to bring clarification to something. Do you believe that you are the creator of your own reality?
Yes.
Do you believe that the things that you think about and the things that you talk about cause you to offer a vibration that comes back to you?
Yes.
And do you believe that everything that comes back to you comes back in response to the vibration that you're offering?
Yes.
Then why would you ever discuss the basis of the question that you presented to us here if you understand that? You say. We get it to a point. Just don't get carried away with it. It's like saying, Abraham, there are people over there that are not living very good lives, and I'd like to talk about them. And we say, well, if you talk about them, then what they're living will become active in your vibration, and then you will live like them. And you say, yes, but I think it's important that I do have a point of understanding. And we say, the only thing that comes out of living something less than you want to live is that you put more things in your vortex that you do want to live. And at some point, you have to wake up to the fact that you have a vortex that is full of things that you want that you would be very well to focus upon. It's time to stop asking the questions that hold you back from the solutions that have been waiting for you for a very long time.